dries his hands on his shirt, runs up to the ball now and puts the penalty in. And Norwich City are in front for the first time in this game. It's Jordan Hugill's first goal for the club.
You obviously know Gibber quite well from obviously previous clubs and stuff. Obviously, his situation over the last couple of years hasn't been ideal, not playing much at Burnley, but getting clean sheets and playing regularly, how important is that for his confidence?
Oh, it's massive for his confidence. As he said, he's not played for 2 years, and you look at him playing, doesn't look out of place at all. And I think it's brilliant for him and brilliant for the club to have a player of his calibre here. So it's, as I said, for me personally, being a Middlesbrough lad, having someone else who's from Middlesbrough here, it's brilliant to help settle. So I can't speak highly enough of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, knowing him has probably helped you settle in a bit more. And sort of what impact do you think you and Gibber have had on the dressing room and sort of the atmosphere in there? Do you think you've given it a little bit of a lift?
I'd like to think,
after last season especially?
Yeah, I'd like to think sort of, I mean, the characters that we both are, I think we both like to have a laugh, have a bit of crack, but I think when it comes down to work, we work, and I think that's how I was raised, definitely how he was raised as well. So it's kind of, when there's time to have fun, we have fun, but when there's time to get down to work, we get down to work. So I'd like to think so. I mean, that's because of people in the changing rooms, but could have effect. But it's no, I'd like to think so.
Just reflect on how you've settled into life here at Norwich City. How would you say you're doing?
Yeah, I'd like to think I settled in really well. Obviously, getting on with everyone in the changing rooms, everyone here at the club, and more importantly, getting my family down. Everything else, I think we've settled in lovely. So we've got a nice little house now. So, as I said, nothing can be better off the pitch. So, just getting my head down, working hard.
Yeah, and obviously the situation in the world at the minute, if you can settle in at this current situation, then you can settle in anywhere, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing, especially when moving to a club, is getting like a little foundation set, and then hopefully going from there and taking happiness off the pitch, on the pitch. So as I said, I'm happy in all aspects of my life at the moment, so hopefully it shows on the pitch.
Yeah, and obviously looking at sort of the competition for places, particularly in the striking position, we've also got yourself, Timo and Adam as well. Just talking to you a little bit about your sort of striking teammates. Let's start off with Timo. Obviously, what do you make of sort of your first few games and training with him as well? What sort of qualities has he got, and how do you sort of complement each other in training particularly?
I knew coming to the club that the quality that we had is why I came to the club. I wanted to be involved in it, and obviously I knew exactly what Timo was about from his time in the Championship, scoring 40 odd goals, and that doesn't come lightly. I mean, scoring goals in Championship is a hard thing to do. Scoring 40 is especially even harder. So I knew about Timo, and I'd like to think that we complement each other well. We're kind of two different styles of strikers, in the fact that he's a bit off the shoulder and everything else, and I'm a bit more of a link. But it works well, and as have you seen on the pitch when we play together, it does work well. And then obviously seeing Adam come through, improving every day. Obviously what happened with him the other week wasn't ideal, but it's something that it'll be a learning curve for him, especially with him still being that young. Is that he'll learn from it, and he probably won't make them mistakes again. So we've got, as I said, good healthy competition, but it's not a competition where, as if I'm not playing, I don't want anything to do with him. Of course not. This is a competition in the fact that if the team is playing, he's scoring goals, brilliant, because I want this team to win. And if it's with me, without me, I don't mind.
Yeah, and the fact that yourself and Timo are quite different in terms of your styles of play, do you think that helps when sort of Timo's playing, the boss has got an option to bring you on, and vice versa if you're starting and there's an option to bring Timo off the bench? Do you think that's a good problem for the boss to have?
Yeah, definitely. I think all three of us, even with Adam, you look at all three of us, and there's three different strikers there. And I think that having the options to, obviously if something isn't working, to bring another different option on that's completely different to what we had on the pitch, what we played with in the start, is good to have them options.
Yeah, and you touched on Adam a little bit. Obviously, a lot of the fan base, we like to see young players come through from the academy, and Adam's the next one in that sort of cycle. How talented is he, and how far do you think he can go in his career?
He's very talented. I think he's a talented boy. I think he's grown up into being a very powerful striker, and I think that, some days you can't get near him on the training pitch, and I think that the more and more he plays, the more confidence, the more stuff he'll get used to the level. I think he can do really, really well.
And in terms of football in general at the minute, obviously it's such a weird situation in terms of what's going on in the world, and the Championship at the minute is very full throttle. We've got games Saturday, Tuesday every week pretty much. Just how are you guys finding it in terms of your workload and balancing that with your recovery as well?
I mean, I love it. I love having games all the time because it doesn't give you time to dwell on anything. If it's a bad result, you don't get time to think about it. You're straight into the other games to try and make it right. And it's what I've been used to. I've been in the Championship most of my career now, so it's something that I'm used to, and I relish the chance of playing games. And I think the more games that come thick and fast, the better.
Yeah, and obviously we're on the brink of another sort of nationwide lockdown. Just tell us a little bit about what you like to do in your spare time in terms of how you're going to sort of unwind and take your mind off the football over the coming months. Hopefully the lockdown's not too much longer than 4 weeks.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'll be home at home with the dogs, with the missus, and a lot of time if I'm by myself, I'm just on the new Xbox, so I'll be on that for a while. So that's the kind of way I'm. Usually it's golf as well. I like to unwind with a bit of golf and Xbox, but other than that, I just like relaxing with my family.
Yeah, but how important is it when you're playing in the Championship, you're training a lot of days, you're playing a lot of games, travelling up and down the country? How important is it to have a little bit of time to switch off?
Oh, definitely. You need that time to switch off, especially sometimes just going home and just sitting on the sofa with my missus and the dogs and just chilling out watching the TV. You just need that time just to come down and just put your feet up, because as you said, it's an intense schedule up until Christmas, so you need that time just to relax.
Yeah, and obviously with you not being an international, you obviously got a bit of time to have a break over next week, and obviously a lot of the other guys are going to be travelling around the world and stuff, but for yourself and a few of the other lads, how important is that little bit of a break going to be?
Yeah, it is, especially for the boys who are playing as well. I think when the games come so quick, so fast, that you just need that time just to get your feet up and just recharge the batteries. And I think that, as you said, you look at the likes of Gibber's not played for 2 years. He's played every minute, every game since the international break. Sometimes you need just to recharge the batteries and get to go again.
Yeah, just on the situation of having fans not in the stadium, and obviously must be quite weird. It might sort of, players are sort of getting used to it a little bit now, not having fans there, but just how different is it not having a packed house at Carrow Road?
I don't think you can get used to it, because I think football without fans isn't the best, to be honest. I think it's obviously, we're grateful to be playing football and doing what we do for a living, but I think without the fans there, it takes away I was having this conversation this morning. I like taking in everything what's going around me, so I'm not one of these players who, as soon as I get in the changing room, I put my headphones on. I like knowing what's going on, I like hearing noise, I like hearing people talk, and it's the same for when I step out on the pitch. I like hearing noises, I listen listening to what's going on around me. So without that, it's a bit strange. So as I said, football, the sooner fans come back into football, the better. Whether we know when it'll be, we don't, but as I said, the sooner it happens, the better.
Yeah, and when you think of the amount of late goals we've scored, obviously you scored one of them at Rotherham. Just think if you had a packed house at Carrow Road, particularly.
In the fans.
Exactly.
And
yeah, and obviously you don't know if you've seen a couple of years ago, we scored a lot of late goals. We were renowned for doing it in the Championship. Mario, particularly with his free kicks, obviously he scored one this season. You can just imagine what Carrow Road would have been like when that went in.
Oh, it'd have been mad. But as I said, not only that, just getting the fans in just for, let's say, mental health type thing, and for people who, I've had people close to me who have been struggling with the mental health, who life revolves around football for them. So if the football's not there, people struggle.